For completing task 1, we are allocated with a data set, that is weather Australia weather.csv. So this data set is the same data set that we used for completing task 3, that is using Tableau tool to conduct analysis. The data that is present in the Excel is all about different locations of the Australia and weather conditions related to the Australia. We need to identify what is the ultimate value, like on which different types of values will be depending on. Okay, so here one second, I will brief you, I will give you proper information. If you see this, based on the data set, these are the weather condition related information, like location, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, rainfall, evaporation, wind direction, wind speed, wind direction at 9 a.m., 3 a.m., 9 a.m., wind speed, humidity, pressure. These all are characteristics of weather conditions of a country for different locations. Okay, by using these values, we need to evaluate whether it is going to rain tomorrow or not. So if you see that we have weather condition reports, people will be preparing, right? Like some of these kind of features will be analyzed by them to decide whether it is going to rain tomorrow or not. So here it is our target variable. Okay, rain tomorrow is whether it is going to rain tomorrow or not. We need to decide about that. All right. So let me so like the data is given for all these variables. These are variables, right? For all these variables, different types of data is given. We need to conduct exploratory analysis now. All right. For that, we need to use a data analysis tool, that is a rapid miner tool. Okay. So I have, so one more thing. Now the task is that we will be collecting data, like using the rapid miner tool. We will be conducting exploratory data analysis. Whatever the results we get, we need to summarize the findings of your exploratory data analysis and data preparation. In terms of describing characteristics of key variables, the task 1.1 is results of exploratory data analysis and data preparation. So what they expected us to do is using statistics tab and chart tab in rapid manner, provide a lot of descriptive statistical information, useful charts like bar charts, scatter plots required for task 1.1. You might also look into running some correlation chi-square test depending on whether variable is categorical or numerical. Indicate task 1.1 table which variables you consider to the key variables which contribute most determining whether it is likely to remain rain tomorrow or not. You could also consider transforming variables and creating new variables, converting target or label variable into binomial variable to facilitate in task 1.3, 1.2, 1.4. The justification for which variables are most likely to predict whether it is likely to remain uh, rain tomorrow or not. This is a simple thing. So again, what we do is like we create correlation analysis, and we decide whether what are the like top supporting variables, like top variable that can allow us to decide about whether it is going to rain tomorrow or not by using correlation analysis, the way we did it in the report 1. Okay, so now we need to create exploratory data analysis. We will be creating a table for exploratory data analysis. Then we conduct some kind of analysis to decide whether uh, given variables are okay or not, or do we need to make any changes to that. Okay, I will brief you all the information. Just try to understand it and properly write it in your report. Here it is nominal, yes or no. This is already binomial only. So he's confusing us. Researcher task provider is confusing us. It is already converting target variable to label or variable. See, we need to predict about rain tomorrow, so we don't need any creating any new variables or converting any target variable into some other formats. No, nothing is required. Enough data that is available is enough for us. Only thing that we might do is maybe handling with missing values. We might be using average method too. See, for example, you got 10 to 15 values, then when some values are missing, if you got 10 records, by using average method, we can allocate some average value to it such that it won't show any impact on other values. Okay, rather than removing all the values, we will be using average method. All right, average of the existing values. So is the case here. So let me start working on it. I already imported data set. Okay, now I got imported data set. Now generate aggregate algorithm. We take aggregate one, and so aggregate method is something some functional tool that we use to create aggregate values. Okay, so aggregates, sorry, this is not aggregate. We need to use generate aggregates function. So this is the function. I'm dropping it on the line. So now I will get, it clearly asks what are the information, whatever the information that you need, that will be provided here. So simply what I did, I have like on the process, onto the process, I have dragged whether Australia file, mean data set is dropped onto the process. Then appropriate selection of operator is to be done. So we need to identify appropriate operators that are used, that will use, by using which we can generate required exploratory data. So considering this, as we need some mean, median, or we call all these type of values comes under aggregates. Okay, so we need to generate aggregates. So we are supposed to use exact aggregates operator. So I'm using that operator, and I established a connection between data set output and example input of exact aggregates function or operator, and then from that I have connected features with this features, exact aggregate features with resource, sorry, result. So by doing this, it generates all these values. See, in addition to these things, after running it, I will show you. In addition to all these things, because aggregates will not show any missing values. So for that, again, we need to go to the general normal verification of this file. When we normally verify this file under this status, its statistics tab, we get a lot of details that are related to whether Australia, it contains missing values also. So that data we can collect. All right. So let me run this one. Okay, I can run this. When I run it now, I will get some results proper. See, this is where I will be running it. So just ran it. Now I get values for all the data results. This is general statistics value for the file. It contains all the missing values. These values we need it now, and here we got different we got 17 variables. For all 17 variables we have some mean, median, everything is there. So now because why we getting all these values means for these values there are some missing values, so you cannot perform addition, mean, median on real or integer values when it contains what missing values. Okay, so what I do is we need to handle that missing values. So what we do, replace declare missing values, replace, I will use replace missing values function. Okay, so default average. So for all missing values I will be using average method. Now what happens is whenever we get some missing value in the data, this function, what it does, it will be replacing it with average value of that particular column. Okay, So by doing it, we can create exact results. Okay, I'm launching it, by running it, we get some better values now. See, now we get a complete data for all the values. Now this is how it happens. So, and if you observe, the values are provided for mostly real or integer values. For nominal values means label values, which is in text format. For those values, there is no data that is available over here. Okay. So now what we do is we take this information. Let me take this result. I copy it. And I will be pasting it here. So in the same way, see, this is very simplest way of doing things. So mostly what our people do is they start copying, pasting, writing, like a lot of time wasted because of that. So simply take this okay, we got a rows time values. So this is fine, not a problem. I'm removing this one, delete, and I have, what is this? First one is someone main geometry main, some main geometric mean first quartile, third median, third quartile minimum, median, third quartile, min max standard deviation, min max standard deviation, t versus kurtosis, skewness. These two are, I don't, we don't want these two things actually. So remove this one. I don't need this one too. Now what I need is missing values. So here missing values according to name wise. Okay, here it is not as per the name wise. So name, what I do is I will cut this one and I will paste it here. It will be easy for me to create values. Filtering it for the purpose of filtering, I did that. Okay, so now see, I will be sharing this Excel sheet to you. You just copy, select values. These values can be selected, and you will just make reduce it. Some values reduce, increase. See here, you can use points. You can change points. Number one. Then you can filter it. Okay, Control A and apply filter. I'm filtering it. Now you can change like this. Sort A to Z. Now I will be receiving values based on the value of the selected field. Just select one or the other field and sort it out such that it will be replacing all the values from one. It will be changing, like location or actual location of the value will be changing. So how it happens? Let me show you. So for example, if this screenshot was used by me, and if the same screenshot used by some other person, it will generate plagiarism, right? To avoid that, what I do is just simply go to sum, like any other variable, just I'm using sum, and sort smallest to largest. All the values will be changing. Understood? So this is how it can be done. Maybe for example, you take this one smallest to largest. You take this one smallest to largest. Some changes will happen in that. Okay. So this is how it happens. Now I need values to be in this format. Cloud 3 p.m. For that it is to 75001. Next 7120. 70120. Next it is 81835. 81835. Next that is for evaporation. Yes. Next it is 6153. 6153. Sorry. 6153. 6153. And like this I will fill everything. Give me a second. This is the table after filling all the values, and believe me, this is a whole value, so you need not to give any like decimal points. So these are the values. See, there is a way of perceiving data. That is, first thing is, when we have a lot of missing values, it is not necessary to include them in the analysis. Maybe let us give a threshold that above 70,000 we are not going to include them in the list, so we can deny using them because it contains a lot of like means several missing values, so it will definitely show negative impact on the data. For that reason, what we can do is we can remove from the list. Okay, later stages, in the later stages when we are conducting analysis, we can remove them from the, we cannot we can exclude them from including them in the list. Okay, so that is one kind of decision we can make. Next one is so let us keep count also, like that would be better actually. Count, what is the count? So when we click on this, we get what is the total count. Oh my God. Is that asked in the document? And we need to cross check, right? That's fine. Average, standard error, most frequent, invalid values, etc. Relationship with other variables. Okay, fine. Okay, this is done. So for now, this is done. I'm sharing this table. You just modify it. You can remove. See, there are a lot of ways you can modify. You can just cut this one, cut, and you can paste it over here before minimum and max. Insert cut cells. This also modifies, and you can remove some of the values from here and cut. You can use cut and you can paste them somewhere else to modify this table. Just try to modify some of the things, some of the information from this table, and just copy the table and paste it onto your what will your report. All right, so that makes it simple for you. Okay, just it is very important that you make some modifications to your table. So there is one more way of doing this. You can select table, and in the Excel sheet you can click on home and select this one, what we call, select home, and in the home you got format as table, and you can click on some for, and my table has, don't forget to click on my table has headers. When you click it, it gets this kind of headers too. Okay, this is how you can make some basic modifications, and you can include it into your task and start writing on it. All right, now in the next video I will make correlation analysis. Meanwhile, you start writing about this. Okay, this should be table 1.1 exploratory data analysis. All right, thank you guys.